Well, hello everybody. Today's video is brought to you by this right here on the table. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're going to give it a shot. I've already sampled this because the functionality of it is it's a little cumbersome, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all before we get started. If you go down in the description, we have an apparel store down there if you're looking for some merchandise, and we have a Facebook page called Hopper Nation and I put the links to both of them down there, and I also put my email address down there for anybody that wants to do anything. Yesterday y'all saw the ProMax 700 that turned out to be a 1010S. The feller that it belonged to actually has both saws, and apparently when he was playing with them, he swapped the air filter cover, so it wasn't anything malice or counterfeit to it. But I talked to him and he told me to go ahead and take care of this one, and then he would send the other one and we'd get after it. Now, what I'm doing now is I got a new hammer come in. I know I said we were going to build one, and we're going to build one yet, but I couldn't turn down the price of this one. I only give like $18 for it total. So this one came already together like this, and it's pretty nice. Now the other thing that come in today is this, and this is a piece of Brashius bronze. I know what it is. I don't know exactly what it is because I didn't write it down, but when I read it, it's I think it's kind of like an oil light bronze, but they make decent hammers, and that chunk turned out to be extremely cheap, so we are going to do that. So all right, I'm going to show y'all what we're doing now. This is the 1010S cylinder clamped to the table on this piece of aluminum. I'm going to take y'all off the tripod and set y'all over. As you can see, I've got the book, and I'm going to shut it now because I've already wrote the numbers down. But what I'm going to do is try to put y'all over here where y'all can see the numbers on the degree wheel. And I'm hoping that this thing will literally just sit right here on the table. I think y'all can see those numbers. I'm sorry if you can't, but we're going to do this right quick. Like, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back to 0. Somewhere right around, somewhere right in there. All right, I'm going to roll it down to our intake, which is about right there. So it's about 57, 58 degrees. Then I'm going to shine the light up through here because we can't move this thing. So about right there, that's the exhaust. 98, somewhere about 98, 98 and a half, 99, somewhere right in there. And then our transfers are about right there. 115, something like that. Well, right about there. Yeah, I keep slipping. It's about 115, 116, somewhere right in there. Those are our numbers. Hopefully y'all can see that. I can't move it any closer to the edge because y'all are literally sitting like right over here on the edge of the table's like, well, you can't even see it because you're actually sitting off the edge of the table. I'll show you. Y'all are like sitting right here off the edge of the table. So this is our setup. I got it set up on the block so I can get to the exhaust port, so I can shine a light up through there, look through the plug hole, turn it around, and you can see the intake down through there, and then look through the plug hole to get the transfer ports. But let me sit y'all back on this tripod before I drop you, because we don't want to drop it. All right. So I've already wrote them numbers down. So I'm going to take this off here. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to go ahead and take it off because, well, I don't guess I have to. I can just wriggle it and pull it out of the cylinder. Now, I'm probably still going to take it off there because I plan on taking a little bit off the bottom of this piston instead of taking it so much out of the port. So I'm going to just set that off to the side so we don't damage it. I'm going to take this bearing off, set it over here with it. And we're going to go from there. So I don't know how much of this y'all want to listen to, but this is where I go to cutting. The pistons rings are pinned, and they're pinned on the intake side. So this is going to come out completely. You already seen that the exhaust is at like 98, 99. So we don't want to go up any higher on the exhaust. What we're going to do is cut the center out of it and go from there. Hopefully I can get y'all in here to see some of this. I probably should plug y'all up. Y'all give me a second. All right. Now, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this port. I'm going to cut it completely out of there because, well, that's a flow restriction, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to go in here with my tile cutter. Trying not to go too fast. Because if you go real fast, your bit gets hot and then the aluminum starts sticking to it, and well, that ain't no fun. So I try to move it up and down, and there's a good portion of it gone. Hopefully y'all can see this. I'm not trying to get crazy on it because the numbers on these things are pretty wild to start with. You can already see we got some more flow characteristics than we had before. Now I'm going to switch over to this because this doesn't go as hog wild. It removes it pretty good, but it's a little more controllable. And all I'm doing is trying to wear that down. We're not trying to go higher for sure. We're just trying to sort of reshape that port just a little bit. Because they're already higher than I'd like for them to be. And there's not a good way of lowering it unless you get into grinding the bearing cups and stuff like that. Well, it's pretty time consuming. There are a few fellas out there that do it, and I've done a little bit on some of these, but I don't go crazy on them. Because it's a lot of grinding. I'm just trying to smooth it up. And these ports ain't exactly kosher from the factory. They're kind of odd shaped. They're kind of off from the factory. They're not symmetrical is what I'm trying to say. They are really not symmetrical. Alright, I'll give you an idea of this. See how I still got that little bit of ledge down there in the bottom? We're going to take that on down and clean that port up. There's a lot of imperfections. I don't know if I can get it all on camera. See that ridge in there? There's actually a casting ridge all the way around in there that makes the port smaller than what it actually is. So we're going to take that out. We're going to go in here and we're going to open up the bottom and lower. You can see where the piston doesn't touch. We're going to open some of that up. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go in here and do some grinding, and then I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. Because I know everybody don't want to sit there and listen to me grind for 35, 40 minutes. So hold on a minute. All right. As y'all can see, I did go up just a hair on it, but not much. I had to reshape it just a smidge and try to work the corners in. It's not finished. It's just roughed out. I don't want to go no more than that. I wouldn't mind bringing it down, but I don't really want to try to get into all of that because it's a lot of work to surface this and cut these bearings out. It is possible, it's just not very fun. Now what we're going to do next is I'll let you have a good look at the intake port. You can see this casting over here laying in there. That I can't really show it to you, but you can see it's just a casting flaw that acts as a restrictor plate. And we're going to remove that. Well, maybe. All right. Now, maybe you can see that. See how much material I took out of there? And there's still more in there. So, I'm going to go in there and clean this port up. There's a huge ledge right there. All that's going to come out, but I'm not going to change the shape of this port. Right now, I'm not anyway. I'm just going to clean all that flashing up out of there and get it cleaned out, and then I'll show you what's going on. All right. Now, what I've tried to do is I tried to leave it so that you could see that all I've done was clean out the flashing so that you can, I'm hoping that it shows through the camera that you can see I haven't ground to either edge, the inside or the outside, just got the heavy spots that were cast in there, and see how much larger the intake port actually is now, just by cleaning that mess out of there. I'm not going to change that port a whole lot. I am going to put the piston in there, and well, I'm probably going to open the ports up a little bit, because there is a wear mark in here that I can see. So I will grind out to widen the port just a little bit so it'll flow just a little more. The exhaust is about where it's going to be. It's right on it. The intake could go just a little bit more, but I'm going to clean that up, and then we'll get to work on them bottom ports. We're definitely not going to raise the transfers because they're already higher than what I'd like for them to be, but we are going to trying to get it where y'all can see it. I can see it good, but all right, you see where the shiny is? See where this shiny is right there, that line? All right, that's where the piston's rubbing. Where this is dull looking, the piston does not touch there, so anything that you cut out there is not going to affect the piston. But I don't want to blow it completely out, but I am going to lower it and widen it so it can have a larger transfer volume to take in. It'll just let a little bit more through there, give it a little less restriction, if you will. But that's yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grind the face of this out just a little bit more, and then I'll show you the next one. All right, I don't know if y'all can see, but I went in there and I opened the side of it up. It's hard to see it. I was going to lower it some, but I got to looking at it, and lowering it really ain't going to do nothing but reduce the volume, or raise the volume in the bottom, because of the way this piston's made. Now the other piston, it does make a little difference, but this piston's shaped more like a 700. But I went there and shaped this up just a little bit more, and I put just a little bit more on the exhaust port and kind of trued it up. So yeah, we're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close to where we want to go. I've just got to go in here and do a little deburring and some smoothing up. And doing that's not always the easiest, but there's one little spot in this exhaust port that I cannot get it to lay like I want it to, and it just looks terrible. And it's not going to affect, that's a lot better there than it was, I think. I don't like little hanging spots. It look weird. But the exhaust port, you got to be careful, because if we go too much on it, it will actually open up and free port. And it's real close to that from the factory. So just shaping the port up enough to straighten it out the way I want it is enough to almost get it to where it don't need to be. So we're going to take and we're going to switch over to one of these and go in there and clean the ports up. And this will about be where I want it to be. These little cylinders or spheres do a real good job of taking the edge off of these ports. I know. It's kind of hard to see. It's almost impossible for y'all to see it because, well, let's just say I can't see it. So if I can't see it and I'm looking at it, filming it is dang near impossible. I'm going to just go back and forth on the edge of this thing and roll the edge of it over. And kind of go back and forth, letting the ball drop off the end and back up, and then kind of go back and forth across it. We're going to do it on both sides. to make sure the rings don't catch. And what I normally do is I take my finger and I rake my fingers up and down. And you'll know if it's sharp because it'll lay your finger open. But I'd rather cut my finger than to mess up a piston instead of rings, because my finger will heal. Piston and rings won't. The intake doesn't have to be deburred as much, because the intake, the rings only pass by it when you're putting it together, and then they don't pass by it again. So I'm going to deburr it nonetheless. And once again, top's still just a little bit sharp, but not bad. If I can see down in there, I can put the radius of that ball right on the edge. Oh yeah, that's much better. And over here on the side, I don't really have to do much to it. I just like to go in there and touch the edge of it where I grind. And that just makes sure it's not sharp. It's not going to destroy the side of the piston or anything like that. It don't take much. Just a little over and under the edge, and smooth as a button. I can take a little bit more off of that right there. Like I say, it don't take much, and she's ready to go. Yeah. Now to finish the timing, I'm actually going to take a little bit off the bottom of the piston. I hope y'all enjoy this new tripod. Has fluid dampeners on it, so it moves a lot smoother when you're moving it with the handle. I'm actually going to take this piston over. I'm going to take just a little bit off the edge of the skirt. I don't know if I'm going to show that. I'm probably not. I'm just going to take it over and knock just a little bit off of it. I just want my timing to be in the 60s, and it was 50 something. It was 50 something. I'd like for it to at least be about 65. It was 57. So I need to take 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. That's 48 thousandths to get to 61. If I take 56, that ought to put me about 62 or 63, being where I've already went. So we're just gonna go. I'm gonna go 65. I'm just gonna lay this up here, and I'm gonna make a mark across this piston, just like that right there. I don't know if y'all can see the line. I'm gonna go take that much off the skirt of the piston. We'll slap it back up on our jig here and see what kind of timing numbers we got. Give me a minute. All right. Turn our degree wheel on and get it right up here to, it looks like top dead center. Hit the 0 button. Go down and come back. 0 one more time. Make sure. I need 3 hands. It's hard to see that, Rascal, with the lights bright. There we go. There's what I want. All right. We're not going to move around. I'll show you the piston here in a minute. We're going to come down to right. Let's shine up in here. Right there. There we go. 68. If you're wondering how I measured it and marked it and got pretty close, I figured 63 and I measured 65. I measured it and put it as 65 according to the numbers it was. I had taken a little bit out of the bottom of that intake port, so I figured it would be a little higher, so I went to 65. I shot for less than what I wanted because I don't want to go above 70. 66 to 68, 65, somewhere right around in there is pretty good. I don't want to go above 70 because I've already went above 70, and I don't like the way the saw reacts above 70. But a rule of thumb, if you're having to cut the piston to get your, well, if you're cutting the piston or the cylinder, either one, 12 thousandths per degree. So if you take 24 thousandths off, you're going to add close to 2 degrees, or it's going to be 2 degrees difference. So if you're at 100 and you're going that way and you take 24 thousandths off, you're going to be around 98. It's not an exact measurement, but it's close depending on where you are in the rotation. Like if you're right in the throw of the crank where it's coming around the side, it decreases. If you're closer to the center, it's pretty well right. But anything that you're doing, about 12 thousandths will equal close to a degree plus or minus. So that's where that comes. So now our intake is at 68, 68.2, 68.5. Yeah. Depending on where you set it, it's right around 68 degrees. So we're gonna go to the exhaust. There's our exhaust. And our exhaust is still at 98.5, 99. So we done good on that one. We didn't change it much, which I don't think we changed it hardly at all. But the degree wheel can be off just a smidge, so it depends on how you get it set. And that's a little bit, and a lot of it's perspective too. So we didn't change the transfer, so it's not gonna be much difference. So we're gonna go back in here. Yeah, I'm showing 120 on the transfers now, and it's 119. So I knew it's off just a smidge, but there's variables. It's not exact science. So we're at 68 degrees now on the intake, and I'm going to put 119 on here because we didn't change it, so it should be the same. And 98 was our exhaust. But we did reshape the port. So, we should have 20, 22, 23 degrees of blowdown. And we've got a 68 exhaust port now and a much larger, or excuse me, we have a 68 on our intake port. And a much larger exhaust port. So, yeah, that's where we're going to go with that one. Now, some people wonder about different stuff like that, and reshaping the ports makes a world of difference. I'll shut that off. Reshaping the ports does make a world of difference. It really does. And I'm pretty happy with what we've got here. There's going to be some other things. I'm going to pull this off here right quick. And we're just going to look at this. That phenolic block is almost perfect for this one. So that's good. That turned out well. Oh yeah, let me show y'all the piston right quick, because we're not going to reassemble it in this video, because this video is already 30 minutes long. Here's the intake side of the piston that I cut off. We measured a line, cut it off. When I got done, I took a flat file and just went over the file and deburred the edge of it. So it works out real good. You can actually tell, I think now, that the intake skirt side is thinner, because I marked it for 65 degrees, which I can't remember now. My brain's going. I marked it to get in the mid 60s. We're in a little bit higher. We're 67, 68, somewhere around there. So, like I say, a degree equals about 12 thousandths. So it's not exactly rocket science, but it's a good way to go. So I'm probably going to go ahead and end this video, and I will get to putting the next video together, and hopefully before long we'll have this sucker out in the wood running a little bit. And I hope y'all enjoy it. If you're going to do some porting on it, on one of these, this will give you some of the ideas of what I do. Now, I got another video that's going to be coming out of a 1010 that you are going to want to see. I've been filming on it for a while, but I'm not going to release any of it until it's done, because it's something special. I filmed, the first part of it I filmed was probably 3.5 months ago. It was before Trevor's accident, so that's one of the reasons why I hadn't got back to it. But y'all are going to want to see it, because I've showed some of the parts on the live feeds, and I think you're going to really like it. But hopefully we're going to get that done. We got the 880 to build. We're going to put bearings and stuff in the Alki saw. That's my executive decision. I'd said we were going to run it till it dies, and it's put on such a good show for us. We're going to put new bearings in it, clean the port work up a little bit, because I'll show you the port work. It was fast. It was really fast. It was just hit it right quick, get it done, slap it back together just to see what it would do, and I'm amazed that it worked like it does. But we're going to do that. For the people who seen the 064 video, I was not satisfied with the 064 either. A couple people commented that they weren't. Me and Andrew agreed it needed more muffler. We added some muffler to it, and the carburetor issue started showing up. So I've ordered a brand new carburetor, an OEM carburetor, not aftermarket, and I've got a brand new carburetor coming for it. I didn't film it, but the other day I had it out there running it, and I shut the low screw completely off, and the saw would still flood on the bottom. And I wasn't satisfied with that, so I ordered a new OEM carburetor for it, and when it comes in, we might make a video slapping that one on there and seeing how it does in. So I'm long-winded. That's all we're going to do for now. I'm going to upload this video. I'm going to go back to filming as soon as I get this video started, uploading, and we're going to see if we can't get this saw put together. I may not be running it tomorrow because I do have to get a fuel line, and I don't think I have any more fuel lines. But we'll see. We'll see. I may make a plug and put a piece of Tygon in it, or Echo, and do away with the that large thing. You know what I'm talking about, the big spot that goes in the gas tank, because I really don't like him. All right, well, I've talked long enough. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe. Be kind. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. God bless. Bellhopper out.